Hello, welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot and this week's episode of the Cancer Love Chronicles, my live weekly love tarot reading for the water sign of Cancer. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into your love reading. All right, Cancer? So I've left a card there for you, something for you to, excuse me, something for you to meditate on, focus on. Take a breath and relax. You're here to enjoy yourself, right? Hopefully this reading will resonate for you. But, you may find yourself thinking, this isn't for me. This isn't my situation, and that's fine too. That's meant for another person, okay? That reading is for someone else, and it's just not for you today. All right, guys? So this reading could also resonate for anybody who has Cancer in their chart. Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, or Mars. All right, guys? So I've already been shuffling off camera, so we can go ahead and cut your deck. And we're going to get quite deep into this message. We're going to put Cancer right over there to the side. And we'll be pulling clarifiers and oracle cards as well. So let's get right into your row of cards. Sunday, the Sun. Sunday may factor. The Sun, Knight of Swords, Ten of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. So your person, Hierophant, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and Nine of Cups. Bottom of the deck, the World. So this is indeed it's a love reading, but we're looking at a connection that you have with someone in your life, right? This is it could be a twin flame. It could be somebody that you know. We're going to get into the message here. But these are your cards, and we're going to read their energies as well. At the bottom of the deck, you have the World. So right now, there's a feeling of fatedness, right? There's a feeling of destiny at play. But let's get right into it. As I look ahead, I'm going to say we feel some good vibes here. These are really good vibes. But let's start with you, Cancer. You're coming in with Sun energy this week, right? In regards to this connection, right? Coming in with Sun, a lot of clarity. You're on fire. You're feeling good. You're having a burst of energy right now. But more than anything, you're feeling extremely confident. You're like at the center. You're at the center of everything. You're feeling like it's all about you, right? It's all about Cancer this week, right? And you feel wonderful. You feel like, spring is in the air, even though it isn't here yet. Now, your person is coming in, and they're dealing with a lot of, I want to say they may be dealing with a lot of family issues, a lot of issues at home, right? They have Hierophant energy. They're coming in, and they're having a very regimented week, right? They're having a very, I want to say, responsibility-driven week, right? There are a lot of things that they have to deal with this week. It could be that they have family ties that they have to deal with. It could be that they have responsibilities, right, to certain people in the community or things like that that they're having to deal with. But that's the energy I'm feeling from them. Hierophant is also Virgo energy. You may be dealing with a Virgo. But now, how do you guys see each other, right? Knight of Swords energy for you. So you're seeing them working away at this, Cancer. So it's obvious to you that they're busy with a lot of responsibilities. You're seeing that they're having to really deal with a lot right now. They're having to sort of like be quite stern, be quite strict. They're having to, when I say deal with a lot, they're having to be a leader and having to take responsibility for things and take action on certain things. And you can see them. They have a lot of motion in them right now. They're moving around quite a lot. And when they see you, they see kind of a separation there, right? They see you and they feel that perhaps there is a walking away, a turning away. It could be, we're going to start to get deeper into this reading. Cancer, it could be that you're just really pulled into your shell right now, right? And, you may be a little bit overwhelmed by what your person is going through, that you're not necessarily showing it. Because from their point of view, they're seeing you as kind of having your back to them and kind of getting on with your own thing, right? Now, whether or not you want that to be the case, we're going to go a little bit deeper, right? But in terms of this relationship, it could be that this is a little bit overwhelming for you, Cancer. It can be that you're dealing with someone, I'm gonna move these over and get these ready for some more cards to lay down. You might be dealing with someone whose responsibilities and whose connections to those responsibilities, whether they be family or in their community, is overwhelming for you. It's become enough, right? And this could be why they see you pulling away, because you're starting to feel a little bit like, wow, my person is constantly the hero for everyone else. And where am I? Let's begin to pull. Yeah, you're looking away, looking for some more information to come in. Yeah, Eight of Wands. It's very confusing. So this is the thing. Your person may not be realizing that this is how you're feeling, right? Or they may not be taking it as seriously as you're taking it, right? For them, it feels very confusing right now. The energy between the two of you, they're not really understanding why you're pulling away, right? But I think for you, Cancer, it's just become overwhelming to have to deal with all of that. It could be that they have a lot of family ties and family responsibilities. Yeah, a lot of family ties and responsibilities, and it's like they're constantly on it, right? And it's leaving you very much out in the cold. I think there have been a lot of times that you've kind of been hurt, because it's as if their attention is elsewhere. And it's not as if you're included, right? So there's a feeling here that not only is their attention elsewhere, but you're also not really included in the conversation, right? And so that's really taken a toll on some of your self-esteem and how you feel. And so this time around, it feels like you're just not there for it. You don't want to be the side person who just is there when they, it feels like you're just there for them to vent, and then they go right back out the door and they're right back in the fray, and you're left alone. Queen of Pentacles energy. There might be money involved. Okay, there could be a lot of money involved here as well. They may have responsibilities with family where they're constantly having to pay for them. Listen, here's an example. I'm going to keep it really real with you. Some of you may be dealing with someone who, say they have a relative who's in and out of jail. Okay, and they're constantly having to come and pay their bail. They're constantly having to come and get them out of jail. It's always like this drama. And you've been there for it before, but here you go, it's happening again. They have the sense of responsibility to this person, and they're running right into it. And you're like, no, I'm not here for that this time. You know what I mean? I've been here the last few times, and yes, I've tried to be supportive, but if you want to go and you want to put your energy and your money into this situation, well, go, by all means. And I feel like that's the energy now. Let me pull two here. Lovers is here. You guys love each other. You're irritated, but you love each other. Okay, there is deep love and affection here. And it's just like, I think to a certain degree, you also admire something about this with them. You admire the fact that, and it could be one of the things that you really love about them as well. The fact that they do come in and race to the aid, or they do come in and take responsibility for things they really aren't theirs to take responsibility for, or perhaps they even are their responsibilities, but they take care of it. And that's something you truly respect. But I think for you, Cancer, it's just been tiring. It's been tiring. It's been overwhelming. It's been, it's taken a toll on this relationship to a degree. But the love is there. 10 of Cups and the Lover's energy, the love is there. So what I will say, we're going to get into a couple more cards here, and some oracles, some animal spirits. What I will say here is that it may be that over this next few weeks, it's just going to be a little bit of a difficult communication time, right? I want to pull a different deck quickly. One moment. Let me pull this deck and just get a quick read. The communication may be a little bit frayed. It may be a little bit difficult. For some of you, yeah, moving away, you're turning away. It could be, it feels here also, Cancer, like they want to just have like a quiet, calm moment with you, right? And there may be times over the next couple weeks where you're kind of rebuffing that. There may be some arguments coming in. There may be, it feels as though there are times when you guys could work towards having a moment for yourselves, and it's going to require you and them. And what I mean by that is that you're going to perhaps have to work on sort of your hurt. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I'm hurt that you're not spending time with me. And then when your person suggests, hey, let's go spend this small block of time that I have together, let's try this. And you're like, no, I don't want to, because you never spend time with me. You know what I mean? You don't want to be caught up in one of those scenarios. You know, I understand being hurt. I understand feeling like you're being left out. But, the times, Nine of Swords, yeah, you want to be careful with that, because for the times that the option is there, the opportunity is there to do exactly what it is you desire, you should always take those opportunities. You should never turn down those opportunities because of resentment or pride, or in any kind of way wanting to sort of punish the other person, because ultimately you're punishing yourself. And I know that's the old adage, you're punishing yourself, but that it's just true, because ultimately you're not taking up the opportunity to make it better, and you're allowing then the situation to continue to fester. So if there's an opportunity over this next period for you two to spend some time together, quality time together, you should absolutely take it. Right? Lest there be some real kind of that could then lead down to some real serious arguing. All right. And strife, I'm going to say. Let me take a sip of water. All right. So I see that coming in, but ultimately there is love here. And this is very much just a situation about beginning to sort of communicate more. You're going to have to begin to communicate to your person how upset this is for you, because it feels here as well like, you haven't been telling them that. You haven't been letting them know that you're irritated as you are, right? And that it's taking a toll on you. And so therefore, that's why there's a lot of confusion here for them. That's why they're kind of like, well, I don't understand why you're acting like this. You never acted like this before. You never said this was a problem before. And so this is also a little bit of a consequence of not really communicating as well about your true feelings, right? There's been a fantasy here to a certain degree, Cancer, in your head that somehow everything would just work itself out by itself. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles. And and it won't be like that. Work has to be put in, right? Nine of Cups comes in twice. Work definitely has to be put in, right? And this is not going to sort of fix itself on its own. It requires you to really speak about how you feel, talk about how you feel, talk about the money issues. If these money issues are troubling you, this constant sort of having to give out money from your person, excuse me, perhaps it's impacting you. Perhaps ultimately they're getting money from you to then pass along. These are the little nitty-gritty things of this type of a situation that some of you may be resonating with, that you have to deal with. You have to communicate that. All right. So let's go ahead and pull, first of all, I'm going to pull two animal spirits to see what kind of animal spirits you're dealing with here. One for you and one for your person. Yeah, but this is a strong relationship. It feels like to me, Cancer, for some of you, this has been a long relationship. There's no doubt, there's no trouble here in terms of you guys with each other, you two with each other, in terms of how you love each other and care for. This is really a sort of an issue about how your person is having to constantly deal with other people, and not in any kind of third party cheating way. I'm just talking about their responsibilities that they either have to friends or family in their life, and it's just taking a toll on your relationship. The Bat, and we have the Eagle. All right, so the Bat, both of these are air energy. So the Bat, right? The Bat flies at night and deals with things in the dark. So it's time to get some let's see if we can get this one to focus. It's time to deal with some of the issues that haven't come out in the light. We'll put that right there. Sometimes as I say, if you're used to my videos, my camera doesn't always focus. The spirit of the Bat energy is there because it's time for you guys to talk about things that haven't been talked about. It's time for you to bring light to the dark parts of your relationship that you just haven't addressed, right? And these dark parts involve resentment over different issues that have come into play, mostly to do with outside responsibilities, right? And that needs to be discussed. The eagle is there. The eagle, spirit animal, air, again, also, but the eagle is all about sort of, mastering a scenario, right? Where the lion is all about self-mastery, the eagle is all about mastering a situation and coming in with power and insight. The eagle is able to fly quite high and get the overall picture, right, of everything that's going on and get sort of a laser focus into how to deal with a scenario. The eagle flies high, gets a lay of the land, and then is able to go all the way down to a field mouse, right, to its target. So there's immense power here, but air energy, talking about the mental focusing power, right? Immense focusing power energy is here for you in the form of the animal spirit, allowing you to see the bigger picture, perhaps see a better solution, a better way to communicate with your person about all of these issues, or I won't say one umbrella issue of having to, as I said, to deal with so many other people. So let's pull out your oracle cards. Cancer. Still a lot of love here, as I said. Spirit of the fly, spirit of the book, spirit of the snowflake. Spirit of the fly, decay, rot, stagnation. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. There's parts of the relationship that need to be dealt with and cleaned out. Not exercised, but cleaned out, dealt with, talked about, cleaned out, resentment, all of that turns into decay and rot and festers. Spirit of the book, new chapter. A development. Yes, perhaps there needs to be a new chapter or a development in the way things have been going in this relationship in terms of, rearranging or reprioritizing, right, what you guys are hold dear. What's most important? Rearranging that. Is it more important to deal with this or to deal with that, right? And then spirit of the snowflake, we have one of a kind. And this indeed does feel like a one of a kind relationship, a love relationship, right? It definitely feels like, you guys are just, you guys have been through it. But right now you need to take some care and some time for each other, right? And deal with some of these darker parts of your relationship that have been allowed to fester for a little while. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Cancer Love Chronicles, my weekly live love reading tarot series for the sign of Cancer. Okay, and in a moment, I'm going to be coming right back to my channel at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time for the Scorpio love reading. All right, guys, so if you're interested in that, please do come back and join that live stream as it begins at 6:30. But for right now, I'm going to call this your reading. Cancer, thank you so much for joining me. Cross watchers, thank you for joining me. And I wish you all love, life, and happiness. And I hope to see you guys at the next reading. Bye-bye now.